This broadcast is inappropriate for all ages, right here on hashtag WeAreMovieClub. Scary Movie Squad. Salutations, I am Camera and I am conversation ready. We're here today to talk about the scary movie of the week, Quarantine, which we just watched over on Rabbit/Camerai. It was a good time. I love this friggin' movie. I desperately will figure out a way to fix this microphone so it's not where I don't want it to be. But it's fine. I guess we're not really ruining anything. I like the clear picture of the poster there, but this is fine. I don't have to have the microphone here, but sometimes it feels really nice, and then other times it's like I just want it somewhere nearby. That's okay. But Quarantine, this is definitely my favorite zombie movie. Even though they're infected, they're not really undead or anything like that. It's just like a disease infection type movie. It's one of those things where it's amplified rabies, like 28 Days Later, things like that. So in the traditional sense, this is not a zombie movie. It's an infected movie. But I really like it, and it's one of 3 found footage movies I can immediately point to and say, hey, they did those right. These are examples you should prepare from. In fact, like, take all of Blair Witch and get the fuck rid of it. I don't understand how that's the movie that made found footage films famous and progressively mainstream. It's such a bad example of a movie. We really need to do that for Bad Movie Club once we get done with this Kevin Smith nonsense. It's a poorly written movie to begin with, but it's on top of that, the found footage sequencing is not used well. It's a lot of like filmed here and there stuff that's pieced together, and it's really a load of garbage when it comes down to it. But like this Cloverfield and Chronicle, when there are pauses, there's points to the pauses. The pauses are written into the script. You're doing this and this and that. This movie is actually all done in almost one shot from one camera. I think there's a couple shots of some security footage maybe, but other than that, it's all from the handheld. I was going to say Steadicam because it's a big professional camera, but it's just a handheld camera. It's nice and professional, everything. That guy had to have been so tired by the time he died. Spoilers. The other reason I really like this movie, and this is why it's one of my top horror movies, even if it doesn't break like my top 6. It honestly might make the top 10. I'd have to look at that for real. I really got to make a top 10 list again. It's been a while. I used to focus on the top 5, and then I could not eliminate one, so I just made a top 6. For the record, they are Sweeney Todd, Up, Wall-E, Bridge to Terabithia. Damn it. It's always embarrassing when I can't remember what my favorite movies are. Moulin Rouge, and it's been a while, I'll be honest. Like, I really like Stardust, but I don't think that's up there. It's okay, we'll move on. It's gonna bother me the rest of the night, because I think when Up came around, that was the one that really upset it. Because I've been saying... Oh, Nightmare Before Christmas. Can't believe I forgot that. Like, I'd been saying things for a while, but if the movie makes me cry, it gets an automatic bid for tops. And Sweeney Todd's just so crazy beautiful. I would definitely put this like up there for a candidacy in the top 10. This is a great movie to me. And it's not even that it's necessarily a good movie, because again, horror movies are filled with stupidity, so you spend a lot of time going, what the fuck is wrong with you people? But they don't have the concept that they're in a horror movie, so they don't always get it. And people, day-to-day life, like, there's that suit. He's just drinking away the night because he's like, I'm not at the office. I can go drink and watch TV. Cable out. Why a fireman at door? And he's just like a stupid drunk idiot, not wanting to listen to anybody, because he doesn't have the context that like he's in an emergency situation and should act a certain way. Because we don't do that here in America. It's just, I'm gonna do what I want. Fuck you. And honestly, bully on him, he has to accept the consequences. The problem in this situation, which they didn't have that context for, is that we're dealing with an infection scenario where as he can get bit and then come back and be a problem later, which we see. Now, to be fair, I think that dog mauled the shit out of him, so probably he didn't come back. I don't remember seeing him anywhere. The vet came back, even though like blood sprayed everywhere. I don't know what the deal was with that. but there was, but I guess we'll just jump right into it. The biggest problem I had with this movie was just nobody was fucking dealing with the problem ever throughout the entire thing. It was a lot of running away, and yes, you need to do that. You got to do that. But nobody would, and they even took the time to group everybody together to make sure that they had everybody and everybody was accounted for. No one would get left behind when they finally were released. Secondly, so they can monitor injuries and whatnot. But they never barricaded or segregated the healthy people from the potentially infected. They never bothered to do that. And when people turned and started going full rabies or whatever, or full aggression, even after the CDC guy said something, they didn't stop to like take people out, like the Latina girl in particular. At least I think she was Latina. I apologize if I'm wrong, but if I remember right, she played a South American person in another show, and that's where I'm getting that from. But I think she was Maya in Heroes. I could be wrong. She had the black eye death power. Anyways, she's like bleeding all over the place. Even if she's not bit per se, she's infected. You got blood-to-blood contact in there somewhere. It looked almost like she was healthy. A healthy person that bit a zombie. It was just everywhere. And you've got people already coming out of walls and stupid shit. You gotta stop, take her out. Like, you had her boyfriend or whatever lost his damn mind and like jumped out the window, or was going to jump out the window to try to escape, and they sniped his ass. It's just, so you don't have to worry about him, but you should have taken her out because she caused a lot of problems there. It caused a big fight scene because the main character woman, the camera lady, the anchor, the reporter, that's the word. She was fucking useless for a lot of this. And she just was screaming her fucking head off and drawing attention. And she's not someone I want to deal with when I'm in a survival situation. That is not a friend to the situation at all. I'm telling you. It's not a good time. She may be cute and awesome, but god damn, I don't want to have to deal with you when there's zombies around. You're going to kill everyone. Mad points to the fireman dude and the camera guy. Those guys died exhausted. And I think that's exactly what happened. I think once they finally got to a point where it's like they realized how many people they had lost, and it basically came down to the fire dude, the reporter, and the camera guy. He just went full ham. He just started offing everybody. He encountered, except for the girl that was handcuffed to the stairs, the easy mark. Like he took out the dog in the elevator. He was just sledgehammering everything. It was fucking awesome, and he was kicking people. But the big thing, I think, what took a lot out of him, and people don't realize how much it takes. Take a book. I'm trying to think if I got. Take your phone. Just take your phone. Granted, my phone's a little big, and just extend your arm straight out, like this. Just do that. Do that for like 5 minutes, and you'll feel what it is to like hold something heavy for an extended period of time, and amplify that a bit. Do that for like a minute, 5 minutes. I'm not saying take an hour out of your day to try to figure out like what does it feel like to carry a sledgehammer around. No, take something like a textbook or something and just hold it out, and then you'll feel that strain on your arm, and then you're feeling it the whole time with it, and then you're doing extra swings and crazy shit. I can't imagine how tired he was by the time Yuri got him, which is another person they should have taken out as soon as they realized he was infected. It's like, what are you doing? Just take him out. Take out the threats. And that's, I mean, that's your best bet for getting out of there, too, is Just honestly, if they had been able to sit at the door for 2 hours and be like, why are you holding us? None of us are infected. Nothing's happening. Come in here and clear this building. They honestly, that's what would have happened. The CDC could have moved everybody to quarantine transports, as long as you made it past the infection rate, because they said everything like was within an hour it spread around to all the injured animals in the vet hospital. But and then so you end up with the same scenario there. It's like if you can go a whole hour without human-to-human infection, you're probably clear. You do 2 just to be safe, and you're good. So it seems like not only is the movie fueled by stupidity, and I get that this is written in a foreign country and we're dealing with a translated Americanized script, but like just looking at it from a real-world perspective, it seems like the government and the army, and granted for the good points for the army getting there so quick, just fucking mishandled everything. Bad communication all over the place. The idea that they jammed all the cell phones and blocked the radio signals, all that was actually interesting, and we had a lot of discussions about that in the chat as we were looking at things. And a lot of it, I mean, lying to everybody has its point, but we don't think it was worth it. Like we all kind of agree that like no, you tell people what's going on, and you let them know, yeah, there might be people in there, but quarantine procedures determine that it is unsafe to let them out. The whole thing with CDC and disease infection type scenarios is that we don't know. We don't have enough information to combat whatever it is. So if it's airborne and we let somebody out, everyone's fucked. Whereas if you just implode the building and burn it all, you might have saved the world. So if you got to write off 20 people to save thousands or more, that's what you have to do, and that's not an easy call anyone makes, but that's why you have quarantine procedures. Because the point is that we don't know how to fight it in a controlled environment. We're already losing that war against that infection, that disease, whatever it is. Once it's out in the world, open, and then mutating, fuck us. We don't know shit. So I don't know. There's so many good stuff in this. Like I'd love to just walk through this scene by scene by scene. I'm tired. I don't want to do it. This would be a great one to go back and do Cinephiles Anonymous. But the beginning of it, like, it just pads the runtime. Fuck the beginning of it. You can probably jump to the first 20 minutes as soon as they're going into the apartment complex, and you don't lose any story. It's a reporter and a camera guy. They're following this fucking fire pit. They recap that at the beginning of the thing, because the police officer's like, who the fuck are these guys? And the fireman's like, oh, they're with us. They're shadowing us. Done. All the backstory we need. Saved me 20 minutes, and we can jump right into the action. I think it would have moved along the pacing of this a lot. And honestly, it's probably the worst parts of the movie is the pacing. But it's also like one of the best parts of the movie because it's pad. That gives us a little time to chat. And they're talking to chat and like talk about what's going on. Like, oh, what would we do? Like, oh, this is interesting. This and this and this, and then action, boom, boom, action, boom, boom, action, boom, boom, action. I swear to God, like there's I think 3 people die, like all in quick succession. I think they're like when they chase after the little girl, the cop. So he commits suicide. I don't think he wanted to live the way he turned his neck to the little girl. So like they find the little girl. He sacks himself. I don't even know if he killed her or not, or killed himself or what. Like that would have been the best case scenario at that point. But they run out. They fight someone. What did they do? Oh, no. I'm thinking when they snapped the Latina girl's neck, and I was like, I really remember them throwing her off the balcony, or so that she falls, and then immediately the African woman comes in and they do that to her. It is fucking ridiculous. everything that goes on with this fucking movie in such fast succession. It's just boom, 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 until you're just like, what just happened? And they worked really hard on getting all the makeup and the look of these zombies, these infected, right. So I almost wanted it to be slower or better shot, just so we could see it and get better effects. Because the movie definitely ramps up. It goes slow, slow, slow. We get to the building. Oh shit, things are happening. Slow build, and then it ramps up a little bit, and we're burning, and then it like drops off. It gets low again. And the end of the movie, the last like 10 minutes or whatever, when they're upstairs in the top floor / attic, whatever you want to call it, that felt like a completely different movie. Because before, they're out in the open. Yeah, it's dark or whatever. She's panicking about the light. But you've got things rushing at you. Things are actively after you. It's more combative, fight or flight. Action, action, action. And then it really goes to suspense at the end there. Because it's like just the two of them in a dark room. And this crazy zombie thing, Patient Zero person. Who knows what it actually was. I think it's supposed to be the scientist, but it's just some old lady in a diaper, as far as I can tell. So maybe it's the scientist's mom. I don't know. But like it's just this thing in the dark that if it hears something, it walks over there. It's very much like a immersive video game. You're just like, are they gonna make it? Can they do this? Can they move this chair? It's amazing she was able to move the chair without making enough sound to get the camera. But once she's up and walking around, like, she gets attacked because she's dumb. Oh yeah, that's right, because she heard it eating him, and then she like freaked out, and then it attacked her. That's right. So dumb. She just screamed all over the place. But such a good ending. I don't know if it's the perfect ending. I think there's lots of ways you could have ended this really well. So I can't throw it into like my small list of movies that ended perfectly. But it's really, really good. And I just love how we switched movies there at the end. It's fantastic. Yeah, but there's a lot of dumb shit in my notes here. Like, just you find someone who's growling, watching static on the TV, and foaming at the mouth. Fucking rabies. It's not like a mythical disease. It's like, well, obviously fucking something's wrong. Barricading. I don't think they ever actually barricaded. I think they ended up locking some doors. And then like one of them had glass on it, so fuck. They could have very easily used one of the apartments and just threw a couch in front of the door, and I think they would have been okay. Honestly, I think if they had done one of the apartments as an infected apartment, and then a second one as a potentially infected, and then a third one for no infection. So it's people who are gone for all intents and purposes. One for people who need attention or medical attention, and then one for people who are fine and don't need anything. Of course, you got the woman lying about her kid the whole time, so that would have fucked things up. Yeah, so there could have been better communication from the CDC, at least through the local police department or the army or whoever, because somebody secured the perimeter first, and they would have had control of the scene. They would have had authority to talk to the people inside. Though, based on the news reports and everything, they were trying to pretend like nobody was inside. I'm also really amazed that they had the little girl who was infected first last so long before she went bananas on her mom's face. And that little girl was awesome. Like, it reminds me of Mama. Just so good being creepy, running around screaming, all gangly fuck or whatever. And she's a really good job. I'm so impressed with kids who couldn't possibly go into any sort of professional acting school on the same level as these renowned adults. Anyways, I'm not saying that they don't go to school and they don't train. I'm just saying, like, it's more talent than training when you compare it to people who have been in the industry and been to Juilliard and Foxtopia or whatever star academy they go to. I don't know. I'm not an actor. I don't know. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like I put on a show and like I do little character bits every now and again. I'll even do impression and accent for you and hunt Morrison Squirrel tomorrow. But is not true acting. No is acting. This is me. This is me doing voice and being silly ass. So I don't know. I'm just always impressed when like child actors really nail it. So dealing with I'm trying to go through my notes because I had some conversational notes in this too. Yeah, and so we had a couple discussions there too because someone in the chat had brought up that because they agreed, like they wanted the government to be very honest about the situation happening on the building, and try to assure people that we are doing what's best for the society at large. But inside the building, she was upset, or he was upset, I can't remember, that they were being truthful there. It's like, you tell them that, they're going to panic, and they're going to rise up and kill you. It's like, why? There's less people in there to worry about. Why are you? What was the difference? And like, to me, it's like you're honest about the situation either way. That gives everyone the power to deal with the situation better. If you're like, this is essentially rabies, then hey, don't get bit. Big advice. That also means that these people are dangerous, out beyond their control. We got to deal with that. This also means that this can't get out. So it tells you a lot just knowing what you're dealing with, and partly how to react to it. Though I get having the point of not wanting to incite a panic. I understand. I get it. I'm sorry. But oh man. And I still as soon as she eats your face, you stop defending whoever it is. Your little girl wouldn't bite your face off, so therefore the thing that bit your face off is not your little girl. Your little girl was gone at that point. Stop defending it. Oh yeah, when they go look for the girl, I just had my notes were something like they run, more running, lots of running. No one is attempting to fight the infected, because this is like, it was just very clearly getting out of hand. If anyone had stopped to just eliminate a couple of them, they could have dealt with it a lot better. The worst thing this movie does for sure, now that I'm thinking about it, is that I cannot tell where the fuck they are for most of it. I can tell when they go upstairs. I can tell when they're down on the first floor. That's about it. Because there's like the whole scene with the dog in the elevator and everything. No idea where that elevator's at. No idea what floor they found the dog on. None of that nonsense. Jeez. Oh yeah. So here's the other thing about it, especially with it being a single camera found footage. It's done so beautifully. Is that I honestly forgot that it's found footage about halfway through the movie, and I didn't remember till almost the end. It was right around where he snaps your neck. And by the way, that's no easy feat. Give me a cat. No? Here's a tripod. Just doing this. It's just a tripod. But just doing this, I can feel it a little bit. Granted, I'm fucking fat and out of shape. But if I stay here like this, I'll start feeling what he felt. Now, this is only 5-10 pounds, maybe. I wanted the cat because it's like 25 pounds, 15 pounds, maybe. You know what? No, I forgot. You guys are less than that. You're about 10 pounds. You got fat, so come here. Come here, fatty. I don't know. So holding someone up like that, let alone when they're fighting you, and then squeezing on them, because I'm pretty sure he had her by the throat, which is why he didn't get bit, and then eventually like putting enough force on to snap someone's neck. And great, he was probably doing two hands. It's just, look at the shadow that I created on my face. Okay. So it's really a really tough thing. It's why I mentioned that he must have been exhausted by the time Yuri got him. It's a realistic thing. I'd love a more, I don't know, this is why I like Viral so much, is that I like when they talk about kind of what to do, or you can talk about what to do in these scenarios in this, because I don't know. I think it's really interesting to have a zombie plan to be able to know what to do about these things ahead of time. But fatigue is definitely something you gotta weather. Exposure to the elements once you're out and about in the open, that's a big deal. And I think they mentioned that in 28 Days Later. I think that's a thing they talk about. Just being able to die of exposure for this shit is crazy. Yeah, and oh God, just that ending. Yeah, but again, like the second worst thing, which is one of the best things, is that crazy unbalanced pacing, because it really keeps you offset. Like a lot of movies like to build suspense because you kind of know what's coming, but maybe you don't know when, so they build suspense to it. They build it, they pack it up, and it gets bigger and bigger until the balloon pops, and then you get whatever jump scare action thing, and then it starts to fill up again. Like, a lot of movies take that philosophy. I gotta get off here soon. Take that philosophy into making their movies and making them suspenseful. The other way to do it is to when you start to anticipate the acceleration of the expenditure, they play with that acceleration so that, like, all of a sudden, when you're not expecting it, you're feeling it. It's not that you're feeling a whole lot, but that sudden change from 60 to 80 degrees heat, like, you notice that. You're like, oh, that's hot. You get that same shock and a little adrenaline rush. And it's kind of the premise of doing a jump scare, but slightly more gradual. Instead of going from 60 to 100, you're only going 60 to 80, and then you stay in that 80. And you're like, if you're into the movie and invested in these characters and the scene, whatever, like, it keeps you going. And you definitely end up on a ride, and it makes the movie great. I don't know, I really appreciated that. You get Stoker on here too. That reminds me, Stoker's another one. Like, oh my God, I need to make. Okay, so I got to figure out if my top whatever actually fits this, but I got to probably have to make a video at some point that's saying, like, my top movies and why. Those drop frames. Top movies that I have for certain reasons. Like, Stoker's a great one for dripping information. This is a good one for uneven pacing and found footage work and just general infection tropes. Again, I can't wait to see this. I'm super excited, looking forward to Happy Death Day. It's one of the few movies in probably the past couple of years that I've seen and been like, I want to see that. I want it. And I immediately thought of the triangle when I saw the trailer, so I want to see how close it is. So I'm either going to buy it or rent it for next week, but we're going to watch it, and I haven't seen it yet. So it's going to be weird to watch one of these with telling people not to spoil shit. So, yay. Alright. It's late. We did some Scary Movie Squad. It's time to go. So, I am Cameron. Thanks for watching. Hit us up on the Twitters at WeAreMovieClub.com or WeAreMovieClub, and join us on the Rabbit group as well, so that you can watch movies with us and join in the conversation. But that's it for Scary Movie Squad right here on #WeAreMovieClub. You want to see anything else we're up to, go ahead and click the annotations and they'll take you to our other channels. Thanks for watching.